It's been another blockbuster quarter for AI giants, but how soon will big tech need to prove to shareholders it is making money? This is Sectors Up Close, and we're talking AI. Last week, chipmaker Nvidia reported another blockbuster quarter with 69% sales growth, with strong results also from Dell, which uses Nvidia chips in AI-powered servers, and AI developer Anthropic. Well, Peter Andersen is the founder of Andersen Capital Management. Peter, there seems to be no end to the upside for chipmakers and AI developers, does there?
That certainly seems the case, and I'm not sure how long that will go on for, because what I think is going to happen is at some point, investors are going to start to ask, what is the difference between machine intelligence and human intelligence? So far, we haven't been focusing on that. We've been very, very excited about the improvements in high-speed computing, and the one thing now that's missing also is, where are these results? When is the end user, the consumer, actually going to benefit from these billions of dollars of investing in AI infrastructure?
As you say, Peter, we've seen enormous investment in AI, much of that coming from big tech firms like Microsoft, Google, and Meta. How much pressure are they under from their own shareholders to show this is generating profits from the end user?
Well, for so long, there has been zero pressure. Investors have been rallying and very excited about this and talking about the promise of AI. But as we know from human nature, at some point, and the patience of investors at some point is going to be tried. I am starting to see some initial hints about that now. When you listen to some of the earnings calls, there are questions about, this is a wonderful achievement. However, when do you expect it to actually produce fruit on the other side? And so we are starting to see that. But I think that within the next 6 months to a year, that focus will accelerate and these companies will better have answers. But so far, there are no answers. And also, we're not seeing, as a user, and your listeners or watchers, they should just try to see, even on their bank accounts or their bank applications, are they benefiting at all from AI? And I think the resounding answer is no. There are still robotic AI answers that are just not hitting the nail on the head, so to speak. And we think that there's something off with these robots, so they still need to be improved, and that's what we're waiting for.
But if shareholders were widely to lose confidence in the potential of AI, that would have enormous consequences for the wider market, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, especially the companies that you mentioned, because for the past 18 months, they have been bragging about how much money they're spending on this infrastructure to build up. And that bragging will actually come back to haunt them if they do not have productions on this. And I also wanted to mention that most people think of AI as some very high intelligent machine, but really some other critics are saying it's just a completion program, a word completion program on steroids. If you look at how the AI algorithms work, they don't at all work like what's up in here. So that's the problem that we're having.
If we're going down the wrong path, Peter, what does that mean for the stock market? Does this mean this is a bubble we're going to see burst with potentially enormous losses?
I think with artificial intelligence, we're also hearing that some of the larger companies are quietly starting to migrate away from this enormous capital expenditure. So I do think it can be a graceful acknowledgement and enlightenment. And that is the key to this having a smooth transition. I don't think it would impact the rest of the markets. It would just be those companies that are focused severely on AI and heralding that AI is going to be a path-breaking strategy that will skyrocket their stocks into the stratosphere.
Are you staying away from tech generally then at these AI-fueled valuations?
I have sold my Nvidia. I was in Nvidia for a long time, since 2015. But one of our sell triggers was so-called the Great Enlightenment, which means investors are starting to ask if this is probably the wrong path. So last summer, we exited our AI investments, particularly because of that sell trigger.
That was Peter Andersen of Andersen Capital Management. Don't forget, you can watch more videos on Reuters.com.